Democrats have a messaging problem. Ask the average American what they think about the Democratic Party, and they'll say something along the lines of, well, Republicans are extreme, but Democrats are just as extreme with all their woke stuff. But here's the real story. Historically, the Democratic Party was the party of economic rights, fighting for working people, expanding the welfare state, and standing against corporate power. What changed? In a nutshell, over time, with the dominance of Ronald Reagan's electoral success, Democrats shifted rightward and started to align with a lot of Republican economic positions, embracing neoliberalism.
The era of big government is over.
People will say, oh, Democrats just need to go on more podcasts, go on Fox News, get a Joe Rogan of the left. And sure, media matters, but that's surface level. We need to start at the base, the core message of the Democratic Party. What's the elevator pitch? Why does this party exist? Right now, voters can't answer that. And that's the crisis. I'm going to compare 3 competing visions for the rebrand of the Democratic Party. And at the end, I'll propose a new vision that implements the best parts of each strategy. Let's start with the first vision, the Fighting Oligarchy Tour. This is Bernie Sanders, this is AOC, and other progressives driving record crowds. Their message is simple, but powerful. There is a small group of ultra-wealthy people controlling the government, benefiting themselves at the expense of regular working families. They talk about the importance of unions. They talk about universal programs such as Medicare for All and universal childcare. And the way they talk about these issues is all framed around who is to actually blame for people's bad conditions. It's not immigrants, it's not queer people, and it's not your neighbor. It's greedy billionaires. There's 2 reasons why this message works. It's clear who the enemy is. It's similar to the Trumpian model of attack, attack, attack. Attack the deep state. Attack the swamp. The illegal criminals. The woke mind virus. Attack, attack, attack. But with the Fighting Oligarchy message, it channels the right anger at the right target. The second reason why this message is so effective is because it stands up for social justice in a substantive way. It equates these groups as our neighbors. People just trying to get by just like the rest of us. It does it in a way that isn't performative and frankly obnoxious. Standing up for social justice doesn't mean you have to be corny or performative. There's a reason why this tour is pulling in record crowds. They're tapping into a real, palpable frustration. The messaging here is clear, and it speaks directly to people's economic concerns. Then there's the second vision, the Ditch Wokeness camp. People like Alyssa Slockton say, prioritize bread and butter issues over wokeness and culture wars. Bring that alpha energy.
Where the hell have you been, Loco?
I don't disagree with being assertive and proud to defend your positions. Like the Tim Walz approach of calling GOP extremists just plain weird.
These guys are creepy and yes, just weird as hell. That's what you see.
Great messaging. But look, wokeness could mean a lot of different things. But I'm gonna guess that she actually just means trans issues. I don't think you have to abandon those issues. For example, look at Andy Beshear, Democratic governor of deep red Kentucky. He publicly stood up for trans kids and vetoed anti-trans legislation, even in that conservative state. And guess what? He still has one of the highest approval ratings in the country. So the idea that you need to abandon social justice to win, that's false. And for kitchen table issues, she and other Democrats never seem to name the policies that they're trying to implement. Are they advocating for universal health care, universal childcare, union-friendly policies, higher wages? I genuinely don't know. And I think that aspect is where it gets a little tricky. You have to lead with policies. But here's what I get from this camp. Yes, we need to be more bold, and yes, we need to focus on kitchen table issues. Because when it comes down to it, most people care more about the money in their pockets. They care about healthcare and they care about economic stability. And I'd argue more so than how much they care about what's happening in a bathroom somewhere. But Democrats have to be specific about the policies. We have to name the policies. If you can guarantee economic security, you can win people over, even those with differing views on social issues. Because let's be real, I think people would rather be woke than broke. Now let's talk about the third vision, the abundance agenda. This comes from political journalists Ezra Klein and Derek Thompson, who wrote a book called Abundance, and it's sort of turned into a political movement. Their thesis, democratic governance fails because of red tape and bureaucratic inefficiency. Because of this, slow processes burn officials and stop them from executing good policy. This causes people not to see results, thus causing them to disbelieve in government's importance in their lives at all. They say, we can't build housing, we can't build high-speed rail because government processes are broken. And look, I don't actually disagree with parts of this. They raise good points about California's housing shortages and the failure of the high-speed rail project. Bureaucratic dysfunction is real. The lack of initiative and ambition of our leaders is real. But here's the issue. This abundance movement isn't just offering technocratic fixes. It's being positioned very deliberately as not only the replacement to Trump-style populism, but also left-wing populism.
And our book is trying to win a certain intra-left coalitional fight about defining the future of liberalism in the Democratic Party.
Watch Ezra Klein and his ideas about abundance. He's looking for a third way out. They'll take advantage of the fact that AOC and Bernie are pushing back so hard, but they're going to open up space for a third way out.
And we have to ask, who's funding this movement? Because when you de-emphasize oligarchy and class struggle, you open the door for billionaires to make policies themselves. Look at Elon Musk. The government subsidizes companies, which ended up making him the richest man on earth. And then he used that power to hijack the government. Even billionaires who have maybe good intentions, like Bill Gates, uses his wealth to try to dictate educational policy, which ended up having a detrimental effect. If you don't name and fight the oligarchs, they fill that vacuum every time. So yes, abundance has its appeal, but is abundance a narrative that moves working class voters? Is it clear about who's stopping us from building? Because government inefficiency is often intentional, designed by lobbyists, corporate interests, and yes, oligarchs. The broadband plan that Ezra Klein likes to cite, Republicans and industry lobbyists made sure it was bloated and inefficient on purpose. So while I agree that cutting red tape is good, replacing class struggle with administrative reform is a mistake. I think there are ways we can take useful pieces of the abundance policy agenda and being against scarcity politics without letting them solely define the core message. So where does that leave us? If we're serious about fixing the Democratic Party, we can't just slap on new media strategy. We need to go deeper. Here's what that pitch needs to be. We are the party fighting for your economic freedom, against the oligarchs and special interests keeping you down. With us and Medicare for All, you won't have to worry about medical bankruptcy. With our policies that give you the right to form a union and a right to higher wages, your family will have the best chance at economic prosperity and stability. And we're not going to abandon civil rights, but we'll lead every conversation with kitchen table issues that unite working class people across differences. We'll regulate the billionaires rigging the system. We'll cut the red tape that they use to block progress. And we'll do it with boldness, not timidity. That's the only way Democrats can get out of this crisis. Because people need more than "we're not Trump" as the message. Because even if we can win with that message, without delivering a solid alternative that speaks to people's real pain, that message will just lead to another MAGA movement in the future. Voters need to know, here's what we're building. Here's what we're advocating for, and here's who we're fighting. That's the elevator pitch. That's the message. Well, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you disagree with me, please comment down below and let me know what your message is. If you have a different idea or want to argue with me in the comment section, please feel free to do so.